How are y'all doing today? Today actually I'm going to be reviewing 3 different power banks actually. One is a mophie, one is a Tesla generation, which actually goes by a different name here in the US. I actually picked this up in Europe. And also an anker power bank. Now I will say on these power banks, they all fit different needs. Now these particular models are all about the same 10,000 milliamps. Actually, they are all the same 10,000 milliamps. So I think this one might be 11,000. I have to look that up. Just to be on the safe side. Actually, yeah, 10.8. So basically 11,000 milliamps. Now, out of these power banks, actually, I will tell you which ones are good and why. Now, in Europe, this is probably your best bet. If you haven't been in Ukraine, you'll see a lot of these, the Tesla generations. They'll try to push you towards a different one. But this one is actually cheaper and better than the other one. It also has a light. And it also has the front screen that tells you the percentage of the battery that's left. That's one reason why I like it. It's just sleek, stylish. It's a 10,000 milliamp. I've actually dropped this quite a bit, and it has not broken once, which I've been amazed at. The other one I'll talk about is the mophie, which is the common. It's the most expensive, really. I don't recommend these typically because of the pricing on them. I think they should be a lot cheaper for what they are. I mean, they are a power bank after all. There's no special lights. You got 2 sockets, just like pretty much all of them now are 2 sockets, unless you get a specialty one that only has 1. Especially once you go up to the 10,000 milliamp level. They all charge up the same way. Micro USB. This one actually kind of like his metal, even though I have bent the corner of it a little bit by dropping it so many times. It is dependable though. It's durable, dependable. I've never had an issue with this one. Now I will say, from the first time I got it to now, long-term use, it did work a lot better the first month than I did after that. And that's even with switching out the cords. Now I will say I did switch to an anker gold tip wire, and that seemed to help it out a little bit, but it still never got to where it was when the first month I had it. And also if you rattle it, which you probably can't hear from there, but there's looks like something's a little loose in there. So it might have been a defective unit, but it still works, it still powers. I've used it for 6 months now, so I'm not that worried about it. But this one actually, the Tesla does charge it up a little quicker. I'm just going to be sad when this dies because I got in Ukraine. Like I said, they do have a US version of it, which I will post later. That one I want to say is Yum or something like that, I believe. I actually have it saved. I'll have to notate it down below in the video. But the design, I mean, the design is exactly the same except the logo's changed. Even though I do like that logo a lot better than the one that is on ours. But, you know, what can you do? Now this was actually Anker, and I pretty much swear by Anker. And Anker actually I switched to after I tried a few other brands. Anker, I've never really bought a bad product really from them. There was one occasion where there's a stereo wire I bought. It actually did work, the wire itself. However, the problem was actually the device I was plugging in, which isn't another review, so I'll talk about that later. But actually, the Anker products are pretty much some of my best products. I think most of my wires are either going to be, well, actually that's another video. But most of my wires are typically Anker wires. Most of my charging units for the wall outlets or even the car are Anker. Now, of course, it's not a standard Anker. It's like a 2.0 or 3.0, which I'll cover that in another video. But I will say the Ankers actually overall seem to hold up a lot better than most. Now, I will say this is a plastic coating versus this was a more, well, it's still plastic, but it seems like there's like a little bit of weight to it, so I want to say there's probably got some sort of alloy in there holding it together. Of course, then again, you got the mophie, which is metal. This is pure plastic. It will break at some point if you keep dropping it. This is probably one of the few that I've actually dropped that the you can see there's like you probably can't see it from there, but there is a slight up part of the plastic because it's been dropped so many times. But it still works. It still does its job like it's supposed to. It has a little light up there, just like the mophie has a light up on the side. So they actually use the little dots versus a percentage sign, but they do hold approximately what they say they hold. Now they do have quick charge 2.0 on most of these, or 2.1. This one seems to act like a 2.4 or 2.2. So slight, because it always seems like it charges up faster with the Tesla. Now I will say, actually, I have tried another anker, which I'll notate. I don't have it because I actually took it with me to Europe, and my friend ended up keeping it because it charges up so quickly. It's actually the Anker 3.0 quick charge. That thing is blazing fast. Now the downside to that is because it's charging at such a fast rate, it does typically make the battery act lesser than it actually is, and that's because when you start going up higher in the quick charges, you actually are losing some of that charge while you're charging up your device because it's shooting that power out. So it's actually using some of that energy to actually send it out at a faster rate. So like, let's say if you have a 10,000, it's probably going to act more like an 8 or 9,000 milliamp battery just because of that. That was the only downside to it, but it was so fast. That little bit of a milliamp difference, to me, I didn't really miss it just because. I mean, it was a lifesaver in most instances to have that one while I was in Europe. Like I said, I did buy this one after my friend kept it because it was so nice. And like I said, I will notate that one down there as an honorable mention just because it was so nice. I just have so many power banks, I just didn't rebuy it when I got here. But I'll probably, once one of these die, I'll probably end up getting one of those at some point again. Or who knows, by that point they might have a 6.0. Charges everything up in 5 seconds, yeah. But that's your review today, so thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. But like I said, as far as the cosmetics go, of course the mophie and the Tesla, but I'm going to recommend the Tesla, which is, like I said, I'll notate the actual American version of it down below. Second on the line, I'd actually almost put the Anker for the price, because Anker is going to be way cheaper than mophie. Has such a name behind it because of the iPhones and everything else, so their price tag, I only bought this one because I got it on sale. They had a special at Best Buy. It was I think once a year, once every 2 years around Christmas time, or like right after, they might do a half-off sale on them, but typically they do not go on sale, and they're typically full price, and the price is just, for what you're getting, it's hard to justify it. So if you find it on a half-off sale, I mean, I will notate the Amazon link down below, and as always, those links do help me give you content. It will help me get better items, better lighting, better improvements, and also into the future of other productions as I go into movies and whatnot, which I hope to get off the ground in 2 years. And you guys will be the first to know about that. If you please like, share, subscribe, I'd be greatly appreciated. And once again, thanks for tuning in.